Okay, so I was actually in the midst of getting ready for a Valentine's party when I realized I had to make this video still. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started with that. I'm just gonna start going through the questions and answering what I have down for them. So if I look down, yes, I am reading it, but these are my own thoughts. The first question says, what arguments can be used to support law or policy allowing withholding of treatment or assisted suicide? I feel that one particular argument that the doctors can use is that of their job description. A doctor is literally required to do everything in their power to prolong the life of a patient. According to the article we read for the assignment, it says a long tradition in medical science asserts that a doctor must do everything in his power to prolong life. His job is literally to prolong life and make those lives of his patients healthier and make it easier for them to live, not take those lives or cut them short. Second question says, on what grounds might one object to policies allowing withholding of life-sustaining interventions or assisted suicide? Sometimes a patient or the patient's guardian may object to policies which withhold life-sustaining interventions or assisted suicide on the grounds that it is the decision of the patient or the patient's guardian to decide when, if these options should be implemented or not. The responsibility between the guardian's rights and the doctor's responsibility to his job and to the patient can be a tough call and should always be made with careful consideration of all the parties involved. The good of the patient should always be put first. However, we must also consider the patient's guardian, the patient's family, and also all the legal issues involved with that. And the last question says, describe the biblical perspective concerning the value of life. We typically euthanize animals out of compassion. How does this differ from humans? Do extraordinary measures preserve the sanctity of human life or inflict unwarranted suffering? There are multiple verses throughout the Bible that emphasize the importance of life and the value behind it. Psalms 139:13 says, for you formed me in my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. Not only did God create us and knit us together in our mother's wombs, but he created us in his image. Genesis 1:27 tells us, so God created mankind in his image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. If God created us, and he created us in a way that mirrors his image, why should we feel that we have the right to take away that life which holds so much value? Answer to the second part, we do not typically hesitate when it comes to euthanizing our pets and animals. However, the Bible tells us that there is a drastic difference between animals and mankind. People have souls and minds that can make decisions. They have feelings and can produce thoughts and opinions. Animals can produce certain functions, but they do not have feelings. They cannot make decisions. They do not have souls that go to a heaven or to a hell. Another difference between the value of an animal's life and the value of a human life is that man is given dominion over the animals. And we see this clearly stated in Genesis. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And that's from Genesis 1:26. And to wrap up, I feel as though there are limits for extraordinary measures. Once the person is not responding cognitively and they are simply being kept alive by machines, at that point, I believe that the doctors are simply letting the patient suffer. A rule of thumb should be, if the patient has not responded in a set prolonged amount of time, and the respirator and other machinery is what's working alone to prolong life rather than just assisting, then the patient should be unhooked from all machinery and be allowed to die. This is a hard call to make for both the doctors and the guardians. However, it is a necessary call and should be made with care. And that is all I have for today. So, good luck in the rest of the class, guys.